Some people will drain every last drop of your mental energy, and the terrifying part is, they walk away from the conversation completely convinced they were the reasonable one. I spent 3 years reporting to someone like this. Not a bad person in the movie villain sense. Genuinely believed he was fair. But I remember one specific Tuesday. I had an email chain, timestamps, my manager's own words in writing, and I sat across from him for 40 minutes while he explained to me, calmly, why my memory of events was wrong. I walked out of that room apologizing. I didn't understand what had just happened to me. I just knew I felt crazy. It took me a long time to figure out the actual mechanism. Once I did, I stopped losing those conversations, not because I got better at arguing, but because I stopped having them. Here's what's going on under the hood. Your brain has 2 systems in constant negotiation. There's the part behind your forehead, the prefrontal cortex, that pumps the brakes, weighs evidence, says, hold on, let me think. And there's the older, faster emotional engine underneath it, the part that fires before you've consciously processed what just happened. In a well-regulated brain, these 2 talk to each other. Emotion spikes, the brake engages, you get a response instead of a reaction. In the kind of person I'm describing, that brake doesn't engage. The moment emotion kicks in, the logical part of the brain loses the wheel entirely. What you're left with is someone operating 100% on feeling, 0% on evidence, and here's the part that should disturb you. They don't know it. From inside their own head, the conversation looks completely reasonable. They genuinely believe they are engaging with your argument because they're not processing your facts as facts. They're processing your facts as a social signal. Are you on my side or aren't you? Their entire system for deciding what's true runs on one question. Does this match what I already feel? If yes, it's true. If no, it's wrong, and so are you personally. You can walk in with a spreadsheet, a video, 3 witnesses, and a notarized document. If the conclusion doesn't match what they already feel, your spreadsheet is irrelevant. You're the problem. And here's where it gets genuinely strange. After the blow-up passes, they don't look back and think, I may have overreacted. They reconstruct what happened. The logical brain finally comes back online, but not to question the conclusion, to justify it. They build a story backwards that makes everything they just did look not only reasonable but correct. And they believe that story completely. The version of events in their head has no relationship to what actually happened. It's a narrative written to protect a verdict that was never open for appeal. Think about what that means for you, trying to have a normal conversation with this person. There are 3 specific ways they drain you, and I want to be precise about this because each one works differently. The first, they never stay on the topic you brought. You raise a fact, they respond with a feeling. You present evidence, they respond with a position. You make a logical argument, they comment on your character. Every time you try to discuss what actually happened, the conversation gets dragged somewhere else, and the moment you follow them there, you've lost. Not because you made a bad argument, because you accepted their map of the conversation. Here's the brutal part. This isn't a tactic. They're not consciously redirecting you. When you say, here is the data, what lands in their brain isn't data. It's a threat, and they respond to the threat. From your side, it feels like you're talking past each other. From their side, they're responding directly to what you said. 2 people, same room, completely incompatible versions of the same exchange. The second, they don't attack your argument, they attack you. Real disagreement sounds like, I think your reasoning is off here, and here's why. This kind of disagreement sounds like, you're so cold. You always think you're the smartest person in the room. You've been like this your whole life. Why? Because their internal story, the one that says, I am reasonable, I am good, I am correct, depends on never being wrong. Concede a single point, and the whole structure wobbles. So they don't engage with what you said. They go after the person who said it. It's not strategy. It's a fragile identity doing the only thing it knows how to do. The third, they are always the victim. Every single story ends the same way. You pushed them. You provoked them. You didn't try hard enough to understand. The specific accusation changes. The structure never does. I was wronged. And you are the cause. There is no version of events where they hold real responsibility. You cannot argue your way out of the villain role. You can only remove yourself from the story entirely. Now here's the part I think matters most. And I didn't see anyone talk about this when I was in the middle of it. What happens to you after long enough exposure to this dynamic? It doesn't just exhaust you. It actually starts to erode your relationship with your own perception. People who study coercive relationship patterns, not abstract theory, actual longitudinal research on people who've been through this, describe a consistent pattern. You start second-guessing things you were previously certain of. A fact you knew clearly starts to feel like maybe it was just your interpretation. You hesitate before you speak. You over-explain. You apologize for things you didn't do. You feel guilty for having emotions they don't approve of. I did all of these things, not because I was weak, because that's what happens to any normal person who spends enough time in an environment that punishes accurate perception. I remember calling my sister one night after a particularly bad week and saying, I genuinely don't know anymore if I'm the problem. She said, "You've been asking me that question for 2 years. You never used to ask it." That was the first moment I understood something had shifted, and it wasn't in my favor. So what do you actually do? First, accept that not everyone can be reached through logic. I know that sounds cynical. It isn't. It's clarifying. Most of us carry an assumption that beneath any disagreement is a shared commitment to evidence, that everyone ultimately wants to get to the truth. That's true in some rooms. It is not a universal default. And operating as if it is will keep you trapped in arguments you cannot win because the argument was never about facts to begin with. Second, stop explaining yourself. I know this is the hardest one. When you know you're right, when you can see the facts clearly, the urge to lay it out one more time, to finally make them understand, is almost physical. But here's what actually happens every time you try. You give them another entry point, another thing to misinterpret, reframe, or use against you later. Every explanation is an invitation to a fight you cannot win. You cannot argue your way out of the role they've cast you in. The only move that works is removing yourself from the scene, less contact, less overlap, fewer situations where they have access to you. That's not cruelty. That's the only exit that actually exists. Third, understand that the parts of you that went quiet aren't gone. That clarity you used to have, still there. The ability to trust your own read on a situation, still there. The instinct to just say what you mean without running it through a filter of, how will this get used against me, still there. These things don't disappear. They go quiet in environments that punish them. When the environment changes, they come back. Not overnight, but faster than you'd expect. I was 3 months out of that job before I realized I had stopped flinching before I spoke in meetings. 6 months before I stopped apologizing at the end of sentences. A year before I trusted my own memory without double-checking it against someone else's. Here's the thing about people who run on emotion as fact. Their real tragedy, not yours, theirs, is that they never actually experience reality. They experience a story they wrote about reality, in which they are always the protagonist, always justified, always wronged by the specific people around them. That story is sealed tight. No new information gets in, no growth happens, no real connection is possible. Because real connection requires being willing to be wrong. You, on the other hand, the moment you stop pouring energy into making them understand, you get something back. Not just time, not just peace, you get access to your own mind again. The ability to form a thought, say it out loud, and trust that it's worth saying. Pulling back from someone like this isn't coldness. It's the decision to stop subsidizing a closed system at the cost of your own open one. If this landed somewhere specific, put it in the comments. I actually read them. And if you're still in the middle of untangling what just happened, stay close. The next one goes deeper into how you rebuild after.